Hi, I'm Margaret De Leon and welcome to Rappler Talk. 3 in 5 women, according to a study by the Safe Cities Metro Manila program, say that they've experienced sexual harassment at least once in their lifetime, and 1 in 7 of these women experience it at least weekly. So, like recently, a lot of women have been coming forward with sexual allegations allegations of sexual harassment by famous men like Harvey Weinstein, Roy Moore, Louis C.K., even locally with indie band members from Jensen and the Flips and Sud. So we're here to talk about how we can put an end to this culture of sexual harassment despite it being so ingrained in our society. So today we have 4 guests. To my left is Nikki Luna, who's an artist and a feminist. Next to her is the UN Women National Project Officer Chang Jordan, and Quezon City Administrator Algin Cunha. And finally, we have Executive Director of the Institute for Politics and Governance, Arlene Santos. So welcome all to Rappler Talk.
Thank you.
Thank
Hello.
you.
Yes.
So let's get started. First, let's define sexual harassment. Chang, would you care to get into that?
Sexual harassment, we call it the unwanted, unwelcome, unsolicited comment or gesture that is sexual in nature. Usually, it happens to women, and usually, for example, for our program, we focus on sexual harassment in public spaces. So, the character of sexual harassment in public spaces is most of the perpetrators are strangers, and it happens in public space, like in when you're riding a bus, or public transportation, or in the market, in the mall. So we see the vastness, no, in terms of where it can happen. But mostly when we say sexual harassment, it is a form of sexual violence. No, it is sexual violence, and it is a violation against women's rights.
Okay, Nikki, what can you say about sexual harassment here in the current Philippine climate?
I guess right now more people are becoming aware because of the global awareness that's happening. Like as you said, we see it in the news, but locally, I think we see it around us. We hear it more often now these days. Women are coming out, which is a very, very good move. But we, of course, we lack, we still lack a lot of information how sexual harassment really falls under the many layers of violence against women. So that's it.
I think there may be a lack of understanding among many Filipinos as to what constitutes sexual harassment, and more so how to react to to this harassment. Even if you're just like a bystander, or if you're with the person who's being harassed, or if you're the one being harassed. So, yeah, you have something?
Margie, if I may add. No?
Yeah, sure.
When we talk about sexual harassment, we also see how, as Nikki said, no, it keeps happening. Wherever you are globally, no, you just mentioned what's happening in the U.S. or here in the Philippines. We see also the way that people see sexual harassment. It's seen as something normal, like it's something like a light offense, or something that people should just tolerate.
Yeah.
Or that people joke about.
That people joke about, or it's something that's being taken lightly, and we see that it seems to be, like part of our everyday. It's an everyday occurrence. That's why you said 3 out of 5 women experience it at least. When we say at least once, it's more than once in their lifetime.
It's barest minimum.
Yes. So it's now part of the reality of many women and girls, and that's what we're saying, that it's not normal, and it should not be tolerated, and it is not light, because we see a continuum, like it, even if it's just like a comment, like "Hi, Miss," or it's not a compliment, no?
Right.
For men who think, or boys who think it's a compliment, it's not a compliment. And women and girls would react to it, would be seen as, being overly sensitive. And, we say that rightly so, because it's not right to be, directed with these gestures, even like flashing, no? We see a lot of, especially in Quezon City, Manila,
Right.
this flashing, women would witness like a man exposing his
Exposing
private
himself.
parts. Yeah, and then,
yeah.
kalabit sa jeep, no?
Yeah.
Like,
Or just
yes.
para invading your space,
In-
especially
yes.
if you're a commuter.
Mhm.
You know, I've seen it like since I, as an artist, and my work revolves around women's rights, women's issues. I have heard and I have witnessed a lot of stories that women or girls, young girls, are sexually harassed in public, and then most of the time this happens like in schools when they're just standing waiting for their ride or while in the jeep, and most of the time they can't do anything. And this, the part where the people around them comes in, because no one will help them out, even if they actually say something. They could be accused of overreacting, or they could even be blamed.
Yeah.
There comes in
Yeah.
the
What are you
issues.
wearing?
What are you
Yeah, right,
wearing?
right.
Yeah. Why were you there? Filled
right.
in an area filled with men or boys? I mean, those are myths.
Right.
Sexual harassment or violence against women crosses all race, age, social class.
Yeah.
It happens to everyone.
It's a really huge problem. Yes,
Although based din sa mga studies, no, like yung SWS survey in QC and our focus group discussions in Manila, kasi nagpilot ito sa yung safe cities in public, anti-sexual harassment in public spaces started in QC, and then we're starting to do it in Manila now. Nasa data na talagang mas vulnerable din yung younger, the girls, no, yung younger age bracket, kasi hindi pa madali silang matakot pa. So even our awareness campaign must really give emphasis sa ating younger girls.
In the baseline, 77%, no, of women who reported being sexually harassed are ages 18 to 24. So that's really the young population.
right. Aldrin, do you have something to say about, especially since sexual harassment should be taken seriously, and you're from the Quezon City government, so
Well, actually, the Safe Cities Initiative program began for the Philippines, began in Quezon City when we joined the 23 other cities worldwide to be part of that network that promotes safe cities or safe public spaces for women and girls against public space sexual harassment. The only distinction that we wanted to make was that there is a difference between what is violence against women and public space sexual harassment.
okay.
From the context of violence against women happens most of the time in intimate situations, or
Right.
domestically.
Yeah.
Unlike public space sexual harassment, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can just catcall, wolf whistle, stalk you, perform acts of that may constitute public space sexual harassment. So we were challenged by the network of other safe city nations or cities, safe cities under the United Nations program for safe cities, to come up with innovative interventions in
Right.
order to deter, if not eliminate, at least deter the occurrence or the commission of public space sexual harassment.
So
And
what were the ways?
one of the ways for that we thought of was to actually faster way of deterring public space sexual harassment was to come up with an amendment to the Gender and Development Code of Quezon City, because originally the GAD code did not provide any penal provision
Okay.
and did not even think of or consider the imposition of penalties and fines for
Right.
public
For
space
this.
sexual harassment.
Yeah.
So we did it. We classified public space sexual harassment into 3 categories, from light to severe offenses. So your penalties would range from a minimum 2,000 pesos to the maximum 5,000 pesos, which is required by the local government code. So we classified what is a light offense for public space sexual harassment against women and girls, all the way down to the most severe. And then after the council passed the ordinance, which was endorsed, of course, by the mayor to the council for them to approve, we came up with an advocacy in Quezon City that, with the tagline, "Magastos, mambastos sa QC." So everyone started to ask, why is it expensive to be rude in QC? Bakit siya magastos na maging bastos sa QC?
So how has the campaign been going? Like,
Well,
people have been-
we've received a lot of reports
Okay.
that I was publicly harassed by somebody
Right.
while on my way back home. So what we do is actually in the first instance of the implementation of the ordinance was to actually have the police officers go see and proceed to the area where the report of public
Occurred,
space
yeah.
public space sexual harassment occurred. And of course our VAUSI desk would first initially warn the offender. You're warned verbally now.
Okay.
Do it again. We'll throw the book at you.
All right.
Now that we've done the implementing rules and regulations on for the ordinance, we are now moving up and scaling up the campaign to train now the implementers of the law. So whether it be the police officers, the prosecution, even the judges, to how would you be able to really appreciate what constitutes public space sexual harassment? Because we all know, nothing against women's rights, nothing against gender or whatever. It could also be used by women to get back at somebody, right? So any woman can just cry public space sexual harassment. So we have to actually train the implementers, the champions of the ordinance, to be able to appreciate the evidence properly. And we will always encourage women to come out
Yes.
and prosecute.
Yes. Speaking of which, to come out to begin with is already
A challenge.
Yeah, it's a huge
Challenge.
first step.
Yes.
A lot of women don't want to do it because they feel that they'll be shamed.
And like what you said, they will be accused of inventing it.
Yes,
that's
that's
the
also-
problem.
Right,
It's
yeah.
that there's a
Or
small
nag-iingat
percentage
ka.
of that. Yeah, or masyado nag-overreact.
Yeah.
Usually, that holds back the victim, survivor, and the accuser.
That's why we are now
coming
training training the those who will implement the law.
Yeah.
So that they will know when it is being used as a leverage against the opposite gender, or is it really an act of public space sexual harassment,
Right.
and it deserves prosecution.
Right.
And we are encouraging really women to come out.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
It's
they have to
encouraging
really-
women to come
They
out.
have
That's
to
why-
really
yes.
come out and report and pursue the case if they really want to.
Arlene, you had something to say? Sorry.
Pag nakita natin, medyo malayo na yung inabot ng QC. While in Manila, IPG in partnership with you, and women are inspired by the Quezon City pilot, the trailblazing initiative. July pa lang nag-start itong sa Manila. The other part na important, maliban dun sa policy level, that's the reform, The reform part is the behavioral change. Doon yung pumapasok yung importante, pinoint out ni Nikki, na dun sa moment na nangyayari yung sexual harassment, for example, sa public spaces, yung initial reaction pa lang doon ay malaki, nagre-rely sa awareness ng mga tao, sa behavioral change.
Yeah,
no?
they have to know that this is wrong, and
So
we
it's
have
very
to,
important yung awareness campaign
Yeah.
na gagawin namin pare-pareho and na magki-kick off tomorrow, right?
Yes.
So yun yung ano so magka-partner yung policy changes, awareness building, behavioral change na kailangan. And then yung mga institutional, yung mismong lalabi mo sa mga different institutions like the judiciary. Kaya we started in Manila also talking with the judges. We're quite fortunate na majority ng judges sa Manila ay babae.
Oh,
So they're
okay,
very,
that's
yes,
interesting.
young women, madami, at very, very supportive.
Responsive,
Even the fiscals and the public attorneys who talk to them. And also with the Manila Police District. Isa yan sa paano kami nagsimula. We had a roundtable discussion with the Manila Police District. Kumbaga, to solve, kumbaga hindi pa nga ma-solve entirely, masimulan to address this. You need the participation of different
Of
segments of
everyone.
Yeah.
society.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Martin,
Go ahead,
what
go
we're
ahead.
talking about is how to end sexual harassment,
right, yeah.
And our program is Safe Cities because we say that everyone needs a safe city.
Of course.
So that's the main message, for everyone, especially women and girls, to live free from fear. So when we say that what we're doing, and yes, the main issue is sexual harassment in public spaces, but what we want is actually a safe city, which also benefits everyone.
Yes,
So in terms of reporting, we were talking about how to encourage women to report. It's also to provide an enabling environment for women,
Yeah.
and to support women and girls, to make them feel that it is okay to report, that it is okay that, yes, to get that acknowledgement that, yes, that was wrong.
Yeah. What's
And
the
there's-
best way to go about that? Like, for example, somebody who wants to speak out but they're scared. What are the best words that you can use? What are the... Well, yeah, but
That's a lot of gender insensitivity training.
No, but at least for the program, I mean, Sir Aldrin and Arlene would also share more about. Arlene mentioned about behavior change, and Sir Aldrin mentioned about training the police officers or the judges. We have what we call 4 R's. First is to realize, and yes, you're right. First, we have to realize that it is public space sexual harassment, street harassment, and it's not only for the women, it's for everyone, for the
yeah.
public, for example, katabi ko sa jeep, Pag nakita niya na tulog ako, or tapos meron palang sumisilip, she can also, or he can call out the man or the person who's doing that. Because first is we realize that it is sexual harassment. Second is we respond, That's why we have to act. We respond. We say stop, or mali yan, huwag niyo pong gawin yan, And then next would be to report. That's why we have mechanisms. So we see that everyone has a role, So where do they report? And that's why Quezon City, what we're doing, we have these billboards, magastos, maging bastos, sa Quezon City. And then there's a hotline, right? Sir
There's a
Aldrin?
hotline.
Yeah, we
So
have a
if you're
hotline.
harassed, who can you call? What
Yes.
number?
This is in QC.
This is in Quezon
Quezon
City.
What we when we included that in our outdoor advertisement. Ang tunay na lalaki hindi bastos. Magastos magbastos sa Quezon City, sa QC. And then the phone line would direct you to the VAUSI desk of the Quezon City Police District. To the headquarters of the Quezon City Police, and it's up to them to actually record and dispatch law enforcers
Okay.
to go to the area.
Speaking of law enforcers.
Sorry, I just have to finish the 4
Oh, yeah,
R's.
no, sorry. Go ahead. Yes. So respond, and then
First is like realize, respond,
Yeah.
report,
Report.
and we have hotlines. And then the 4th one would be reform.
Okay.
That's why we have the local ordinances, we have mechanisms, we have task forces. It's really more multi-stakeholder. We have police officers, barangay tanod, even concerned citizens or community groups. So that's how we see that we can have a safe city for women to be free from fear. And should they be, should they experience sexual harassment, they know where to go and what to do.
Speaking, Aldrin, of officers, there was a recent incident where QC, what do you call this? Let me check.
QCPD.
QC cops were caught catcalling.
Yeah.
What happened to this?
It's still undergoing investigation by the Quezon City Police, and we're proud that we're happy that the complainant really came out,
Yeah.
and
Especially since police yung
she's actually, for lack of a better term, hell-bent to pursue the case.
Okay.
We will see what will happen to the police officer that actually forgot that we have a local ordinance that also applies to him. So I'm sure he's facing both criminal and administrative cases with QCPD. We're actually monitoring that, and hopefully when we go to the next round of the Global Leaders Forum on Safe Cities, on the Safe Cities Initiative program, Quezon City, as the pilot city of the Philippines, would be proud to report that. I don't know
Right.
if we will be proud to report it, but we really need to report that the policy is in place and it's working.
Right. Yes. Okay. Now, speaking of, let's go from on ground to online. A lot of people have been coming forward, especially millennials, regarding the harassment they've received from all sorts of people, not necessarily famous people, but people have been really like more vocal online. What can you say about that? Like, what, Arlene? Like, how do you guys harness that new kind of culture of calling out?
One is, of course, online kasi, di ba, mas accessible kasi siya. But at the end of the day, concrete action.
Yeah.
Importante siya.
Yeah, of course.
So halimbawa dito sa Manila, what we are planning we will be partnering with the Student Council Alliance of the Philippines, CAP, particularly their Manila Consortium, because there are so many universities, colleges in the city of Manila. So we want to have campus tours, forums discussing this, and dun sa mga karanasan namin in talking to the millennials, very, very, talaga sila, interested
Vocal, yeah.
and vocal, and they want this campaign, no?
Yeah.
Itong safe cities na to. And even during our focus group discussion, even in the data of the Manila Police District, ang matataas na insidente, no, ng reports ay nasa mga university areas.
Yeah.
No? Kasi yung mga estudyante, yung mga estudyante na naglalakad, etc. So isa 'yon na from the online ay dalhin sa getting together, talking about it, knowing their rights, and then linking them to support the local ordinance and other activities.
Nikki, how about the art community? A lot of artists have been like sharing a lot of art that they say are for human rights or for feminism. So, do you see that transfer into the real world? Thanks to the
Art kasi is like a vehicle or a tool just to show the realities. But you have to have some, I mean, if you really want to get into it, the art making and the artifact itself is already a form of activism. But also, you have to be on the ground. That's why I do other things. But there are lots of other artists. I mean, I'm part of other artist-led organizations that help human rights, from extrajudicial killings to women's rights. But I guess it still boils down. And art is just another way of keeping people informed. But it's always not it's not the only way, it's not the most effective
course,
either, because we still go back to what I've been hearing from the three of them, is keeping people informed. if you want to constitute, like what constitutes a safe city, it's really having, first and foremost, children, family units, communities so informed about their rights, on what sexual harassment is, what vow is, what it means, and what you can do about it. Because we are struggling with, I don't know, centuries of conditioning, unjust social structures that we have, and that everyone thinks it's okay, diba? We tend to normalize, people tend to normalize rape jokes, because how can we blame them when we have political leaders who are in power and they don't think about their speech and their action? I mean, their own action in their private lives, more so their speech, that are easy, people really believe them. Right? Pasabihin mong joke. Our own president does that. So that is the biggest challenge, because the marginalized, the communities, the cities look up to these people. So we have to keep persisting, pushing information down to the ground. So that's why it's great that cities and communities are doing it.
Right. Chang, do you want to talk about what the UN is doing in particular? You guys have a new program?
Yes, thank you for mentioning it. If you remember, I was joking earlier that if you can have orange balloons here.
Right.
Yes, and Rappler
is
orange.
Rappler orange, yeah. It's our
so,
logo.
Well, tomorrow, officially tomorrow, November 25, is the kickoff of the 16 days campaign against violence against women, or 16 days campaign or activism. It starts tomorrow, November 25, which is the International Violence Against Women's Day, it's VOW. And then it ends on December 10, which is the Human Rights Day. But for the Philippines, we have an 18-day campaign, because the Philippines ratified the Convention on Trafficking on December 12. So they extended it for 2 days more. So that's why only in the Philippines we have the 18-day campaign. But globally, it's 16-day activism or 16-day campaign. So for the UN, we have what we call Unite. It's a Unite campaign and vow. And we have what we call Orange the World. So we're so excited because Quezon City last year really did an amazing job. We have this, Sir Aldrin can tell us more about it. But just to say that Orange the World it's like a message. It's to send a message that we want brighter future for women and girls in the society. So orange because it's bright, and more colorful. So we look at the theme as Leave No One Behind, which is the UN theme for the Sustainable Development Goals. But particularly for Unite campaign of the UN is End Violence Against Women. So we want a world that is inclusive, and then where women and girls are not left behind, especially when women and girls are, at risk of sexual harassment, especially in public spaces. They will not be able to, live freely, more productively, and of course they will be left behind. So that's the message. And we have some activities, also Manila, and maybe Arlene can also share. Again, this is a 16 days campaign, and we are so happy with Rappler, and really are very grateful to have this Rappler Talk, and we're also planning a little bit bigger one, discussion, also within the 16-day campaign. So please, maybe Rappler can also do something, to orange the world, and just maybe the building, or the same way that Quezon City and Manila would also be, coloring the cities with orange, to give that message that women are living in safe cities, especially in the Philippines.
Arlene, could you tell us a bit more about, Chang mentioned, there were a few.
Okay. We will be kicking off on Sunday through a community barangay orientation. So
Okay.
we'll have a series of barangay-based. Gusto namin community level. But of course, we also have a press con on the 29th with the different women organizations and youth organizations, together with the representative of the Manila Police District Women and Children Protection Desk. And that press con will just say, this is a problem, we will address this, and we're talking to to the city officials to do something about the problem. And then first week of December, there will be also a press conference of city officials on their response to this the issue that the November 29 press con will present.
Okay, thank you. Aldrin, do you have
Yeah,
anything to add?
Quezon City, as the pilot city of the Philippines for safe cities,
Well,
we started with the tagline way back in 2002. 2012, I should say.
Okay.
We started with the tagline, Lungsod ko, dangal ko, my city, my pride, when we did initially with the Safe Cities program with UN Women, UN Habitat, and anyway, for the 80-day campaign, what we will do is reprise the last year's activity of turning the pylon, the Quezon Memorial Pylon in orange, beginning tomorrow
cool.
night.
Hard to talk.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
If you'll notice that the Quezon Memorial Pylon has a interchanging color during nighttime,
yes.
because that's the landmark of the city.
Yeah.
Now for the next 18 days, it will be on steady orange color.
Orange.
So,
Wow.
we have already given instructions to the technicians to program the lighting system and mix
Awesome.
the colors so that it stays orange the entire night. So our residents will be surprised again why the pylons now steady
Yeah.
orange.
Hopefully they ask why.
Usually they do. Why
They
is it
do. Okay,
why
good.
is it orange? Why is it orange for the past few days? And the normal answer is Quezon City has adopted the international color for women's rights and ending violence against women, which is orange.
Great.
Unfortunately, here in the Philippines, it's violet or purple.
It's purple, yeah,
It's
for
purple.
RH,
So
yeah.
I mean,
can mix.
it's confused. It sends a very confusing confusing signal because you have different colors. But anyway, since Quezon City is a global city, I will apply the global color orange, and then we are now in the process of commencing the training of trainers for those that especially the torch bearers of the ordinance, and with the approval of the implementing rules and regulations, especially on the penalties, and how to educate people on how to apply the law and interpret
Okay,
the
so
laws.
it's going to be an exciting few weeks for this cause against the violence
And
against
we
women.
invite everyone, no?
Yeah, of course.
We invite everyone, and we have a Facebook page, no, Safe Cities Metro Manila, and we also have a Twitter handle, Safe Cities MM, and please use the hashtag Safe Cities, Free from Fear, Orange the World, 16 days, and Me Too, no, campaign, and we really want our voices heard, and really to promote the need, for everyone to work together to act to end sexual harassment and to make a safe city in all the cities in our country.
Okay. Maybe we can have a few last messages from each of you. It looks like things are looking up, at least like ever so slightly. So what can you say about the state of sexual harassment in the Philippines, siguro like in the next 5 years? Like how can you envision like
That's not the short answer.
yeah, okay.
No, I guess we just, like I always say, we must create awareness. We must keep on doing that. Start in community, start in our own homes. Not have have a non-sexist environment to raise our children. Not to be moralized na double standard, that we should identify violence against women. We should address that. We should call it out. then I think we will go somewhere. And especially, nothing's really going to happen unless we have reforms and the policy should change, how the government is handling it, the victims, the survivors. That needs to be addressed. I think more importantly, that's how we can say something is really moving up in the next 5 years if we see that now flourishing.
Okay. And Chang?
Yeah, I would want to keep an optimistic note. Well, at least in our program, Safe Cities, Metro Manila, this is the very reason why we're doing this, no? So in 5 years, we can see women who are not fearful, who do not feel fear when they go out to go to school, even just to go to the mall, to be around friends, no?
To be standing.
Yeah, just to be standing somewhere
Yeah.
in the corner.
You're
So
walking
in
down the
5
street,
years,
yeah.
You won't be
Yeah.
looking at your back.
in
and
5 years
Right.
it's too short, right?
Yeah.
But we want, increasingly, women to feel safer, at least especially with the cities that we are working with. Quezon City, Metro Manila, especially with the commitment, of our government leaders. And they see in 5 years more actions and sustained actions from the government, unwaning commitment from our government, not especially at the local level, but including at the national level.
Right.
No, in 5 years, you will see a more sensitive political leaders who will be mindful of their speech and their actions, who will be more respectful of women, again in their speech and in their action. And we also see boys and men
Right.
who will refrain,
Standing up, or-
no? Both, no? Two things, who will refrain, even if it's considered as normal or as, simply a habit or like nothing, no? To refrain even with the pressure from their friends, no, or buddies, to refrain from doing
Right.
sexual harassment and to call out,
Yes.
among them, no, other boys and men from committing sexual harassment, and for each and everyone, no, the people in the mall who see it, katabi natin sa jeep, si manong driver, si Uber, no, pag may nakita siya na sinasakay niya, everyone who's really taking a part and who's doing
more
their
proactive.
part, no, who cares about making and all the public spaces safer for women and girls and for everyone. So that's, well, I don't want to say it's a dream, no. I think it's gonna happen, right?
Yes.
With Quezon City and Manila, I think it's gonna happen in 5 years.
Aldrin?
Well, Quezon City has taken the first step, and we can assure our Quezon City women and girls that in Quezon City, they're free from fear, and that our men are aware that sa Quezon City, magastos, mambastos. And we encourage all women to be free from fear. Do not be afraid. Report to your authorities, and we will take action because the laws are in place, policies are in place, the mechanisms are in place. We will do everything we can to protect the rights of women and girls against public space sexual harassment. Just the phone numbers are posted all over the city, so you know what to do. Just take a snapshot of our outdoor ads and do the calls, or if you want, you can even call our hotline. It's simple: 436-721-1, or even the hotline 122.
And visit the pylon.
And
It
visit
turns
the pylon.
orange.
Take a picture tomorrow.
Yes, please.
I will
Yes,
focus
Arlene?
more on the action part in order for the dream to be realized, no? Kasi this will be a long journey.
Yeah,
It will be a long
for sure,
struggle.
for sure.
It's not only the policies, as I mentioned earlier. So, girls and women, organize yourselves, talk to each other. reach out to men and boys, no? Na either organized, TODA man yan, or whatever organization that they have, to get their support. Kasi mas mananalo tayo kung men and women ay magkakatulong, including the LGBT and everybody. Lobby your barangays for barangay ordinances. Lobby your city councils. No? Mag-lobby sa city council to have your own local ordinances. Mag-district lobby. Make your district representative or congress people more accountable kung anong binoboto nila sa Kongreso. No?
Mag-election na.
Yes. We have proposed pending national bills. One, the bill of Senator Risa Ontiveros on Safe City bill, and also there's in the lower house by Representative Tom Villarin. So nandiyan yan. So yung combination na yon ay perhaps the dream will be realized, pero marami dapat ang nagtutulungan.
So Arlene, Aldrin, Chang, and Nikki, thank you very much for joining this Rappler Talk, and
Thank you.
And to our viewers. I hope that you guys learned something during this talk, and not only that, are encouraged to really speak up about this issue, because it's so important when it comes to progressing as a country. Thank you again. I'm Marguerite De Leon. Thanks for watching.